Welcome back to page 121. Today we're going to take a look at a beautiful starship, a Herald class starship for T5, Traveler 5, and this is from the Darnashulid Design Bureau. This was sent to me by the author. He wanted me to take a look at it, and I've looked and I like it. I'm going to go through the ship itself, what it is that I like about it. The fact that I don't play T5 is not going to be a hindrance to including this ship. And I'll explain that as we go along, as I go through the video. I am not a gearhead ship designer guy, so the fact that it's designed for T5, it can still be usable for Classic Traveler or for Mongoose Traveler, whichever you're playing. You could even figure out a way to make it work for New Era. And it actually worked nicely with Mark Miller's Traveler too, T4. So we're going to take a look at the ship, this beautiful hardbound book. That was definitely more than I thought was coming. When the author contacted me, I was expecting kind of a floppy like GURPS used to put out for the Starships, and I got something beautiful. So I'm going to show you what's inside here and why it's a good idea to pick this guy up. Today on page 121. Herald class starships. This is presented by us by Thornwood Darnalud LLC, Darnalud Design Bureau. Written by Craig A. Glessner, and Craig asked me to be sure to note that the cover artist is Stephanie Macalea, or Maclea, M-C-A-L-E-A. Want to be sure, Stephanie, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your last name. My apologies. I tried to do it right. But he noted that her credit wasn't given inside the book, and he wanted to be sure that I mentioned it, so I did. I want to thank Craig for sending this my way for me to take a look at. And right away, I was impressed. I was not expecting a hardcover. This is a hardcover. It's a rather pretty hardcover. This came from Drive-Thru RPG, print on demand. I'm going to go ahead and include a link to the ship itself. And this is also written for Traveler 5th edition, produced by Mark Miller. Just putting that out right now because I don't have Traveler 1st edition, at least not the current iteration of it. I have an early version. If you follow my channel, you know that I bought the early one, but I haven't bought the current one yet. So there are a few things in here that I'm sure kind of got past me a little bit because I don't play Traveler 5th and I'm not really familiar with the current iteration of the rules. But that being said, any 2-6 version of Traveler, you can use this ship. And so that won't be a problem, believe me. Inside, the very first flyleaf, it's a little personalization from the author, which I appreciated. I thought this was really nice. He grants me ownership of the Herald class starship, and then just give it an honest review, warts and all. I appreciate that. That was a nice little personalization. So then we come to the credits, which has author and designer Craig Glessner. Ship's cat is Reznor Ab Glessner, the Prince of Thornwood. Artist and draftsman is Mark Lucas. The editor is Richard A. Shalleck. And then he credits Mark Miller, Rob Eagleston, and Don McKinney as the Imperial Advisors. He gives some acknowledgments here for folks that helped him. And then he gives us a little background on where this ship came from. It started in 2008 when he began his involvement in Traveler 5. And he went ahead and designed this, and he gave a handout to his players about this ship, which he included in the back, which was a nice touch. I'll show you that when I go through the book. It's pretty exciting. And then we come to, of course, the table of contents, which tells us what's in here. The book is 26 pages. And then we come to Belindan liturgy. Teach us to number our days rightly so that we may gain wisdom's heart, yea, Lord. And a Belindan benediction. God bless the Emperor, yea, Lord, and God save the Emperor, yea, Lord. So I believe this is old Villani. Introduction. It just gives us the standard and assumptions, how to use the book, some background information. There's actually a nice, here, the standards and assumptions section is pretty good. If you're newer to Traveler, this gives a nice recap of what the standards and assumptions are, the dates and the year and things like that. The year coming from year 0 and then going forward. This book is set roughly in 1105, but can be used anytime from the end of the 990s up to 1105. And then we get some background information on the Darnalud Design Bureau, the DDB, and it rolled out its first Herald class in late 990. Some of these served in the Soleimani Rim War, and several are in the marches. And we get a nice old traveler touch here. We get to look at the various ships that have been laid down and their fates. So here we have, this one was laid down in 1000, and it was the Herald of the Imperium, and then MU. MU tells us a vessel which has been taken out of commission and transferred to a museum, and so on and so forth. So we get all the disposition of all the ships that have been Herald of. And the idea is the Herald class ship is named for different parts of the Imperium. So we have the Herald of the Imperium, Herald of Kor, Herald of Silea, Herald of Vland, and so forth. So then we get the dispositions, what happened to some of the ships, which is pretty neat. And then we get to take a look at the Herald of the Marches. We get a nice long look at this one. It's an expeditionary yacht. I'm going to go into a little bit of the stats of the vessel at this time. Basically, it is a tech level 15, arguably some 16 in here, but again, I'm not real familiar with tech, Mark Miller, the Traveler 5, so it might not be in T5, but certainly in Mongoose Traveler, a few of these things would be tech level 16, which I like. It's 800-ton displacement, jump 3, maneuver 3 with agility 1. Got some nice legs, jump 3 and maneuver 3. It is armored and armed. And here we get the construction time is 25 months or 17 months in bulk. And the owner of this one is the Diplomatic Corps. And then here we get all kinds of information on it. So the advanced type HA 800-ton hull and advanced teleastronics J3 jump drive, giving this vessel a jump 3 range, 4-week fuel load, gives the Permatic Power Systems power plant an excellent operational output. The vessel itself, again, there are some peculiarities to T5 that I'm not familiar with, but I did like it, and honestly, it wasn't enough to stop me from thinking about this ship if I were to play it. I play Mongoose 2022 update, as you know, if you follow my channel, and I absolutely could see that I could put this ship in with no problems. It comes with a mix of the best and most creative of the high stellar technology. It has 2 particle accelerator barretts and 2 hybrid tech T3 turrets containing a laser, a missile launcher, and a sandcaster. A quad turret for both dorsal comcaster and the chin-mounted datacaster. For defense, the vessel comes equipped with Regina Atomics defensive systems, so you're safe from gravitic, nuclear, and electromagnetic threats. An earlier stage, I'm not even going to try that Volani word, black globe generator, and a prototype grav scrambler also protects you. This is pretty neat. It also comes with a psionic shield that can be around the ship, because this particular ship is headed toward to the Zidani space for a diplomatic mission, among other things. And so it's got psi shielding around the ship, and that's why I say in Mongoose Traveler, to my mind, that would be something that would almost be cutting edge, tech level 16, psionic shield around the entire ship. And then we get a really nice list of possible scenarios that you could use this vessel for, which is really nice. I love adventure hooks in a ship design. And now we get to look at the ship itself. Very nicely laid out, very pretty graphics. I like these sketches. That's really pretty. And then we get all the key to who sleeps where and where the command deck is. I like the spacious command deck. Actually, this is this is the conference room up here. I like that too. I like the idea of a big spacious 10 forward up here as a conference room with holographic projectors all around. And then we come, here's the operations deck, would be directly above the conference room. So there we have the bridge, a nice spacious bridge, and we get a breakdown of all the staterooms, all the operations deck, the breakdown, the long corridors to be used to deter piracy. If you have somebody who actually gets into the vessel and they have to make a long run up an unshielded corridor. And he goes into some nice touches about how the corridor and some of these vessels that are privately owned can be a place where an artistic crew member could go ahead and make a nice, long, beautiful mural if they wanted to. And some of the ships that are maybe older and have seen more use, they could also be a site for some graffiti. Nice personalized touches that I like in a Starship planner. Starship setup like this. We come down to the wing deck. We have the hangar, the access to the guns down here. We've got the sensor bay, the long corridor again, which is the access corridor. Yet another long canvas for frustrated or just bored artistic types. Panels, the occasional console, not much to see unaltered. So you get the long corridor again for a time of defense for the ship. And then we get some other nice looks. This is the hold itself. It only holds 20 tons, and 10 of those are taken up by an armored limo that you can use for ship-to-ground service, which is pretty sweet. And it's 20-ton cargo, has a vehicle stored in it. Vehicle's a grav limo massing 10 tons that has a nice little autocannon in front for when you get into that traffic jam and you absolutely positively have to be there. So then we come down to some library data. The small vehicles also has a fast boat attached to it. Beyond the diplomatic limousine, which would be used to gosh wow your guests and the other diplomats, you have a small craft Wiseman Yards fast boat to get you around in less flashy style. So then we have a nice little library data section. And then we come into the referees only, where we talk about the anti-hijack features, the mission, the psionic shield. The Herald of the Marches comes with a few specialized psionic devices installed. One is a prototype ship-rated psionic shield. Shield is not public knowledge and is maintained by the signals section. It is installed to allow the ambassador and their staff to work without worry of telepathic scanning or intrusion. Another function is to protect against the seizure of the vessel by hostile forces using psionic compulsion. The other thing I would allow that to block, of course, and I believe that's what they mean by intrusion, would be psionic teleportation. So no Zodani crash troops on us. Thank you. So here we get a very nice look at the ship itself. Again, with the key, so you can use this and go back if you want to look at what each item is. And then we have the various other decks that are called out. And then we have a nice breakdown for T5 of the actual ship itself. And there we go. There's all the design you would need. And this is the neat part I really thought was pretty cool. This is the handout that he gave to his players in a game years ago. He went ahead and included it here, which I thought was pretty cool. And it's got different pictures of the ship in prototype. And, of course, a nice index. I love a good index in a book, especially for a ship book. I like an index to tell me where to look for stuff. And then we're out. A couple of blank pages to fill out the back. And we're done. So there we have it. That's a fast look at the Herald class Starship. Comments and one or two mild criticisms. Comments are, I like the book a great deal. I love the presentation. I love the way it's laid out. I love the handout in the back that you could theoretically give to your own players. Just hold the book up to them and here that's your layout. Go ahead and look it over. Couple of criticisms, very, very minor. There are quite a few typos in here. I was a little surprised by that. It's not enough to enjoy or to limit your enjoyment of the book, but there were a number of them. He said warts and all, so there are warts and all. There are some typos in here. I'm kind of picky about typos just because that's how I am. But that being said, I thought this was an outstanding supplement. I absolutely loved it. I absolutely recommend it. If you're looking for an 800-ton yacht that can be used as, among other things, a Q ship, that's one of those where you pretend to be a fat, dumb, happy yacht. The pirates close in to board you, and you drop the panels off the side and reveal all the guns and start firing away. That's one of the uses for the Herald-class Starship. I like this book. I like the imagination in this book. I think the author did a really nice job. I think there are a bunch of adventure hooks in here between the standards and assumptions. Well, that's the traveler stuff. I mean, I meant between the background information on the ship itself. The Darnulud Design Bureau, there's absolutely no reason that can't be a corporation. maybe verging on a mega corporation. Maybe you're involved with them. Maybe you've got to do a repo on one of their ships that someone bought directly from the manufacturer. The dispositions of the ships I've always loved in Traveler, and then the ideas behind this and the adventure hooks, list of possible scenarios, what's going on, just really nice. I really liked it. It was a fun read. And I want to thank the author again for sending this my way. I really appreciate that he did. It gave me an opportunity to take a look at this. And yes, absolutely, I recommend it. You can get the PDF pretty cheap. It's also print on demand, either softcover or hardcover. I'm going to go ahead and attach the links to Drive-Thru RPG in the description below. But yeah, absolutely, I give this a thumbs up. There it is, a thumbs up right there. I give it a thumbs up, and I recommend it highly. Whether you play T5, any iteration of Mongoose, even Classic Traveler, even Mega Traveler, any 2D6 iteration of this game, you can translate it almost without change. The other editions of Traveler would require a little bit of work, but still, for the deck plans alone, it's worth it. So there we have it. That's my look at the Herald class Starships by Thornwood Darnalud LLC, written by Craig Glesner. I thank the author for sending it my way. I hope you liked what you heard and saw here today on page 121. If you did, please like and comment, and tell a friend. I'm still doing some a subscription drive. I always am, but I'm pushing it a little bit more these days. It's slowed down quite a bit, and I'd like to pick it back up. So anything you guys can do to help would be wonderful. That's all I've got to say today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on page 121.